peanut butter grasshopper, Oreo Cookie Pie, or the peanut butter chocolate pie. Those are not pies.
Grace, Dave, and Wally are right over there in their favorite booth. Why? Because another episode of Charbroiled Chats is about to get underway. And this time, they're talking about pies. Yes, I said pies. Let's listen in.
Some people care about pie.
Well, not like they used to, though. That is my beliefs.
There's a place called Monica's in Naples that sells grape pies that are just, they sell constantly. They sell them constantly.
Well, I think they might be making a comeback because when a couple of years ago, I would say like 3 years ago, we went to Brooklyn and to visit my brother, and we stayed on Smith Street, which I didn't really know about before. It's this cute, funky street in Brooklyn, you know, all these shops, et cetera, and there's this hotel that we stayed at, and I love pie. So anyway, we went by this bakery, Mia's, and I discovered that they have the best commercial pies that I have ever had. I mean, commercial, they're still making them, but I mean, it's retail, right? It's not like your mom made it at home. It was so good. I had their triple berry, I had their apple crumble, and then their blueberry. And just the crust was good because my mom, of course, she makes the best pie crust. You know, it's flaky, it's not, she uses butter so it doesn't feel like lard in your mouth. And it's flaky and crumbly, and that's the way theirs was. And the fillings were so good. They were just, so I was in heaven. So we went there 3 nights out of like 6 nights. I haven't had anything that good since. But I did just find out now there's this new coffee place, and it's coffee and pie. Like that's all they do. So I was very excited about that. So that means if it's in Buffalo now, that means that, you know, the pie resurgence probably started 5 years ago. Because everything here is 5 years behind.
What was the filling like? Was it sugary, or was it more like, you know, like jam or something, or preserves?
The filling? Yeah, it wasn't. It was like real fruit. And the good thing was it wasn't too sugary. It was, you know, it was good. It wasn't like they opened up a can of apple pie filling and threw it in.
Right. Okay.
It was delicious. So it was totally worth it. But up to that point, I feel like every restaurant you would go into when you were a kid had pie. You know, like, so those are the places like, you know, Howard Johnson's. And did you guys have Your Host?
What is it?
Your Host?
No. Well, I don't think so.
It was a little diner kind of place. And they had bear claws, you know. Which,
bear claws, yeah, right. Apple fritters.
I don't remember if they had apple fritters, because I think at the time I probably wouldn't have cared about those. Now I would. But they, you know, they always had pie. Howard Johnson's had pie, you know, like any restaurant. I can't even remember the names of Buffalo restaurants now from that era. But they all had pie.
Didn't Charbroil have pie, Walt? I mean, didn't the guys order pie a lot at Charbroil, or no?
Yeah, there was a lot of pie there.
Yeah,
But Grace's question was, why don't people care about pie anymore? But it sounds like Grace really cares about pie.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I do. It's my favorite. You know, that's like at birthday parties, people are always like, isn't this cake great? And I'm like, I don't really care about cake.
Oh.
I only care about pie.
I don't know. I think pie is a halfway thing. I mean, if you're gonna go with dessert, you've just got to go with like the German chocolate cake or you know, something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Pie is halfway. Why? Because it has some fruit in it, so it's relatively healthy.
Yeah. Right. It's like you pretend you're doing something good for you when you know it's not.
Well, that's...
Why do you think that people don't care about pie?
Well, just because
Is nobody showing up at this place?
Right, that is a good...
No, people were showing up at Mia's, but the thing is, I feel like you just don't see them on menus the way they used to.
Okay.
We used to. And now, when you see them, they're like that kind of unholy thing, like the Oreo Cookie Pie or the peanut butter chocolate pie. You know, those are not pies.
Everything is sweet in a way that it didn't used to be.
Well, absolutely. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love sugar. but a lot of that stuff is too sweet for me.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to eat a pie that's full of jelly. That's the problem. And even these grape pies from Monica's, my parents would always go down there every fall, and that's what they seemed like to me. It just seemed like I didn't know why they even liked them, because it wasn't like you were eating grapes. It was like you were eating some jam or jelly or something.
Oh, remember those two grape pies? Well, I mean, I know those still are around, right? During like the grape festival and things like that, like in the Finger Lakes and in Ellicottville. I know you can still get grape pies. I don't go for those. I mean, there are some fruit pies that, well, first of all, let me indicate that it's fruit pies that I care about.
Yep.
Right.
Boston cream and stuff like that, I don't care about those. I never really liked them very much.
What about pumpkin?
Oh, actually, okay, I'm lying there then. Pumpkin's my favorite pie.
What's your favorite pie for throwing in somebody's face?
I think that would have to be a cream pie, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Coconut cream.
Yeah, that's been my experience.
There's no fighting in here. It's the war room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just used that line. I even said it yesterday. That's funny.
I was talking to someone about bodily fluids the other day.
Yeah, right, yes. I do not avoid women, Mandrake.
I deny them my bodily fluids.
I deny them, that's it. I deny them my bodily fluid.
So is it the death of pies because of the sweet tooth that's developed?
Well, that could be part of it, or maybe they're hard to make. Like maybe a good fruit pie is harder to make than one of those disgusting like peanut butter grasshopper pies or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the crust. I'm sure the crust takes a lot of work.
Yeah. And I don't really like the graham cracker crusts that much. They're okay, and the thing is, a good pie crust is super. I've never made one. They're super hard to make.
I make an exception, though. Pecan pie is better than almost anything.
Oh, I do like pecan, too.
Yeah, better than cake. If it's, again, if it's like there's a lot of nuts and there's very little of that jellyish, what's...
Jellyish?
Yeah.
As in gelatinous?
Gelatinous, yeah. That jellyish. No, I said jellyish-ish.
Yeah, well, two things. First of all, gelatinous is almost as disgusting a word as moist.
Yeah.
But number two, I actually, you can get a pie, and they're called butter tarts, like in Canada, right? You can get this butter tart that's a pie crust with just the gooey stuff from the pecan pie. And those are really good, too. Those are ultra sweet, though. Like, those actually hurt your teeth when you eat them. But those are good. Those are good. See, I like a lot of the gooey stuff and just one layer of pecans. I don't like it all through.
Oh.
The pecans all through.
Yeah, okay.
Grace, as men, we like solutions. We don't want to just talk about the problem. What is the solution to making people care about pies again?
Well, as a public relations person, I would say it's education.
Oh.
We've got to educate the youth of America about pies and why they need to start demanding them, right?
I did some research. The Nielsen Company reports that between February 2016 and February 2017, there has been a 10.1% sales increase in the slice/half pie category and a 28.7% sales increase in mini pies, which seems to contradict what you've been saying.
Well, here's the thing. When I went to that place in New York that I mentioned, that had the best pies I've ever had, that was about probably 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And I had been thinking about the pie thing for several years before that. So perhaps I was just on the cusp of the trend. Maybe people were all thinking the same thing. And it's like, it's time for pies to make a comeback. Maybe that's the deal. And as a result now, you're seeing all these places that, well, I don't know if all of them, but, more places with pies. However, like the good ones, you can only go to like a bakery on Smith Street or this place that just opened, in Buffalo. It's just a little mom and pop shop, coffee shop. Like if you go to a chain restaurant or something like that, which I don't really like to go to much, but those are the places that you find those really hideous, Franken pies, which I don't consider pies. Franken pies. like the Oreo Cookie Pie. Even though Oreos are my favorite cookie, I don't want an Oreo Cookie Pie.
Okay, I get it. Or like a Reese's peanut butter cup pie.
No, that does not. And I love Reese's peanut butter cups, but those do not attract me at all. It has to be a really good, like, basic fruit pie or pumpkin pie or pecan pie. It has to be very basic and standard pie.
So you were hitting us with a premise that was already 3 to 4 years old. And completely out of date.
Yeah, very old. Yeah, but I still felt like it was important.
So now you think differently.
No, not really. I mean, I believe that there was a lull in pies. I believe that, there was a lull. But now that, people are realizing what I'm trying to think if there's like another trend like that where, it really went by the wayside. And then all of a sudden people were like, why don't we have this anymore? It was good, Like, I don't know if you can really say that about coffee. I think coffee was always around, but then people just made it crazy coffee, So I'm just trying to think of what went away. Like things, well, like comfort foods, like those definitely made a comeback. Like things like pot roast. And, there was definitely a time where you could not find something like pot roast on a menu, except maybe at like
mac and cheese on the menu.
Yes, and that's totally, all of those things have totally made comebacks over the past several years. It's all the comfort food kinds of things.
You'd like to see a Starbucks of pies.
That would be good if they could keep up the quality.
If it was good pies.
Yes, if it were good pie.
Right.
It would have to be good, though. And that's so hard to do. Like we said, with the crust. The crust has to be flaky and delicious.
One of the things we talked about the last time was that the thing we came up with is that it was too hard to make a good pie.
That's what I think the crust is very hard to make. Dave, I believe, disagreed.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Oh,
no,
okay.
I don't think so.
The crust is very touchy.
No, I don't disagree.
Oh, okay.
What about the culture, though? What about the taste culture?
What do you mean by that?
People love sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
sweet is the problem. I mean, I think Grace agrees that sweetness is the problem.
I love sugar. I adore sugar, but those things are just they're just so manufactured. They're just manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not
right.
It's not.
It's like processed cheese, the really sweet, jellyish, jellyish. I'm going to say that again, not gelatinous.
Oh, I like
jellyish.
gelatinous though too. That's a good word.
Yeah, not gelatinous. Okay, it's not gelatinous.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Jello is gelatinous.
Yes.
But jelly is jelly. All right. So those fillings like jelly. That's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this something we can't do anything about because you can't change the culture that's gone to sweetness?
Maybe.
You could teach people to make pies that are really good, but you can't get people to accept pies that aren't sweet.
Well, I think that if you are a connoisseur, you would accept it and you would realize that this is a really good pie. But if you're just someone who likes to go out to, I've never been to Chick-fil-A, but let's say Chick-fil-A was a sit-down restaurant somewhere and you were going to order a dessert. That's what you'd want to order at Chick-fil-A, because that's disgusting. And that's what you'd want. But if you really knew your stuff, it's like coffee, If you went to wherever, like a chain place, that you're just going to get chain coffee. But if you go to this place that's on the west side of Buffalo and there's only 2 locations and they grind the beans right in front of your eyes, it's going to be really good.
Okay.
I don't know, but the sugar thing, I would hazard a guess that is a food manufacturing trend that, the sugar levels have just gone up and up and up. And I think part of that is, I know part of that took place with the low fat trend because to make things more palatable,
yeah, right,
they had to add more sugar when they were taking out the fat. But then, again, as trends do or as pendulums do, it swung back, and people are like, well, we know it's low fat, but look at all the sugar you've tossed in it. So I don't know.
Yeah,
sugar is definitely, I think, much more in evidence than it used to be.
Which was the disaster of the American diet when everybody went to carbs and got away from fat.
And big agriculture and corn syrup. And
corn syrup is a big part of that too. Yeah,
right,
no doubt.
Right.
Education is not going to do it. That's what you concluded the last time we had to educate the youth of America about pies. But it sounds like that's not going to do it.
I think we need more mothers baking more pies.
Well, that could be true. I mean, it is interesting to see all the people right now during the pandemic who are baking bread and things like that. I just managed to finally get some yeast, right? I couldn't get yeast for 4 months because everyone's baking right now and probably in some ways rediscovering it, one would imagine. It's just you don't have the time so much. That's a whole trend with eating out, too. I mean, eating out over the years, that has just boomed, because they're two, like if you have a 2-parent household, they're both working, there's not the time, there's, kids are overscheduled, so everyone eats out more.
So this is the perfect time to bring back pies because nobody's eating out.
Maybe.
Where did the pie obsession come from, Grace?
Mine? I don't know. I don't really know. Because I don't feel like when I was a kid, I was overwhelmed by pies, but all of a sudden it just, like I think I mentioned, my mother's pumpkin pie, the best pie in the world. And then when I lived...
Pumpkin, by the way, is a vegetable, not a fruit.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew?
Even though that's your favorite pie, and you said you don't care about anything but fruit pies.
Okay, well, maybe produce pies? Produce pies would be better. Because you know what other
You're like the fact checker, Walt. Walt, are you fact checking? Is this real time fact checking as we go? I mean, what's your role here?
I'm trying to do like a Senate hearing kind of approach to take Grace down and her stupid theory.
Yeah.
It's true, though. I've always had friends who do that to me because I will just spout off on anything. And I've always
Did you not say?
Like, what are you talking
Did you not
about?
say, Grace?
But in Rochester, I think I remember this. When I lived in Rochester, I'd go to the public market and there were these church ladies there who always had sweet potato pie. And that was another really good one, too. And I think sweet potato pie, I started buying that like every time I went to the market. They had little ones. And I think that got me back on the pie wagon.
That sounds awful.
Sweet potato pie?
Yeah.
You've never had it?
No.
Oh, my God.
Potato pie? I mean, I just can't imagine crust filled with potatoes.
Probably cook them until they're just, I don't even know what. And then you're whipping them up.
Yeah. Till they're gelatinous. Once they get gelatinous.
That's it.
Yeah.
You take sweet potatoes and add 5 pounds of sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes. And cream probably. There's probably some good cream in there too. And it is well, eggs. I would imagine you'd need eggs to make it thicker, right? Fluffy.
What about savory pies?
Pardon, Walt?
Oh, yeah.
Savory pies.
Those are good too. You mean like quiches and tarts and things like that? And
yeah, or meat pies, or sausage pies.
Yeah, those are good.
Chicken pot pie is one of the best things in the world.
The one thing I've always been curious about, but I will never try, is kidney pie.
Oh, God.
Because that's just disgusting.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Unless it's gelatinous, then it's really good. Yeah.
Because someone told me it actually has a faint flavor of urine.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
No, I remember reading that, too. Yeah, kidneys.
I can't imagine anything less appealing. Oh, God. Why would you eat that?
Yeah.
I don't know. So, Wally, is your background in meat pies?
I beg your pardon.
Is that your ethnic background?
Did you come?
Awful in a crust, in a really nice crust filled with awful.
Haggis. Oh,
Did you come up eating meat pies? Yeah. Well, is that haggis? Do you like haggis?
Yeah, entrails.
Haggis? No, haggis is it's a sheep's stomach, I believe.
Do we think that pies are a second-class dessert?
Well, I do sort of feel like people feel that way. That they're not special enough for a birthday party. Why is a pie not special enough for a birthday party? Because you can't ice it and put candles in it? I think that's true. I have told people that I would prefer a pie for my birthday, and no one will do it for me. Do you think that's right?
I like that you're not only obsessed with pies, but you actually you feel badly for them.
You have compassion for pies. Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel badly for the category. Yeah.
Lonely pies.
Yeah.
Lonely pies.
Now, what about pie a la mode? What about that?
No, that's good too. Yeah, what could be wrong with that?
That's the only way I would eat a pie. Yeah, is if it has ice cream.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh.
You need the contrast.
So you're not a purist, Grace.
I'm not a purist. You mean it can't just be the pie and nothing but the pie? I mean, only certain pies to me are good with ice cream. Like, it has to be a real fruit pie. It can't be pumpkin pie or whatchamacallit pie, sweet potato pie. Those to me would not be great with ice cream. But see, I also like fruit ice cream desserts, right? So maybe you don't like those either, Dave. Like an apple crumble sundae or something like that, or a blueberry or a strawberry sundae. You would like those?
Oh, peach crumble. Yeah. Old Greg, he makes good crumbles. You remember that? Remember Old Greg?
I remember Old Greg.
Yeah. He made a great crumble. Yeah. Peach crumbles. Yeah, they're fantastic. I love them.
I used to say that little phrase to Luis when he was younger, and I think it scared him, even though he didn't even see that show.
What phrase?
I'm Old Greg. I'm Old Greg, yeah. And I think
Old Greg? That's all you'd say, just
him.
Old Greg? I'm Old Greg!
Now, here's an interesting twist. That guy, one of the guys from the Mighty Boosh, turns out to be on the Great British Baking Show. Did you know that?
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I remember that.
Isn't that interesting? Because I was watching it once and I was like, who is that guy? And then I'm like, oh my God, that's the Mighty Boosh.
Have you ever eaten a whole pie?
No. You mean like a regular size pie? No.
20% of Americans have eaten an entire pie by themselves.
Really?
In one sitting.
Huh.
I mean, that makes a difference.
I have eaten a whole pizza pie by myself.
Yeah, that's right. Pizza pie. We didn't even bring that up.
Yes. I have eaten a whole pizza pie.
Now, that is a thriving category. That's thriving.
But would I eat a whole pie by myself? Maybe. I mean, the only thing I've eaten a whole pizza, like a whole medium pizza. But the only other thing I think I've ever eaten to that quantity would be like a pint of ice cream. But I probably could do a whole pie if no one were watching. Yeah. I think I could eat a whole pie.
If you enjoyed this episode of Charbroiled Chats, and even if you could barely tolerate it, you should subscribe. And if you'd like to get in touch with Grace, Dave, and Wally, easy. Tweet them at @CharbroilC or send an email to charbroiledchats@gmail.com. Tweet, email, subscribe. You have nothing to lose, except a little self-respect.